Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me during Spring Watch. This is my 2-week back-to-back dedication to all of the beautiful new products that have come out in our Spring catalogue and our Celebration catalogue, and it's running in conjunction with the online class that you can find the details of over on my blog. I'll put the details in the description bar too. So this project here holds a dozen tea lights. Now it holds a dozen tea lights that are standard. These are Asda's finest tea lights, but it will also hold IKEA tea lights depending on how domed your tea lights are, but it will also hold 8 of the cup tea lights. So if you're one of those lovely chandlers who makes their own tea lights and they come in the plastic cups, it will hold 8 of those. You can stack 2 on top of each other, but these with the standardised tea lights, it'll hold 3. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make it. It needs a piece of cardstock that measures 9 3/4 by 6 1/8 of an inch, which is 25 by 16 centimetres. I'm going to do a metric version of it, but as I always do, I will give you both sets of dimensions, and I will also give you a direct link to the blog post that has got these directions on as well. So I'm going to stamp first. I fell on this stamp set as soon as I saw it in the catalogue. I just squeaked and leapt her out, and I had to buy it immediately, which I did, and I love it. It's called So Very Grateful, and I just love this. Now I'm not a floral girl. Flowers die in my house. I kill them off. I just don't see them. But I love floral stamping in this sort of big, swirly, crazy design, and I love it. So I'm going to stamp that, but I'm also going to stamp the sentiment at the same time, although I did manage to put my piece of crisp cantaloupe cardstock away, and it's crisp cantaloupe that we're working with, and I've got matching ink because I like the tone on tone, which I've done with the Strawberry Slush and the Coastal Cabana. So I've got my stamp prepped, and I've chosen the bigger one, the bigger of these, I think really just for speed as much as anything. So just stamp down in a random fashion, all over the place. Turn your stamp, get it going in all sorts of different directions. One off there, we'll go off the edge slightly here and down at the bottom. And then while I have my ink and while I have another piece that I have now got from the stash underneath my desk, I'm going to stamp the sentiment down here, because I'm going to be cutting these in a minute with my Big Shot. Right, I've got my Simply Scored here. Now when you buy a Simply Scored, the main one comes with imperial dimensions on it, imperial measurements rather, on it. But you can buy a metric plate, which I have got here, and it is, the imperial is set up in, it goes down into 1/8 of an inch increments all the way across to I think that's 12 1/4. The metric one also goes up to 31 centimetres, but it's got these unusual markings here, and that's for A4 or the A range standardised cards. So if you are very much a card maker and you want to cut, you cut your cardstock and you want to score them in half, because our measurements are sort of like 52.5, was this 52.5 millimetres, 74 millimetres? They're unusual markings, so that's what those are all about. But we can use it, we can use this, it's absolutely fine. So the scoring in metric comes at 4 centimetres, 12 centimetres, 16 centimetres, and at 24 centimetres. Now the imperial version, you're going to score it, you're actually going to score it the other way around. You're going to start with the smaller side first. You're going to score it at 1/2 an inch, 3 5/8 of an inch, 5 1/8 of an inch, and 8 1/4 inches. And the reason I've done that is because this is a funny old measurement that's down here, and these ones, they just wouldn't line up, and it's fine. So that's why I've done it, but it's quite simple. Turn it the other way round, and we're going to score it again at 4 centimetres, and again at 12 centimetres, and again for metrics, for imperial folk, you're going to score it at 1 1/2 inches, 4 5/8. Seriously, don't worry about writing it all down because it's going to be on my blog. Anyway, right, now before you burnish and fold, we need to cut these lovely little windows, these little bits out here. So I'm going to bring in my Big Shot here, turn it around so hopefully you'll be able to see everything. And I'm going to use my magnetic plate. You can use a regular plate with, you know, post-it notes or something to hold it in place. I prefer the magnetic plate. And it fits perfectly. Now, see if I can tilt this. I'll have to turn it this way around. You've got a skinny section, another smaller section, and then a big one here. We're going to cut at this part and at this part. So that's where we're going to put the framelits. Actually, I might cut it this way up so you can see. I might just adjust my lights ever so slightly. There we go. So hopefully you can see where I'm going to position. And I've got the Chalk Talk framelits, and there are, obviously there are these sort of hanging tag shapes. There are two that are symmetrical. That's the larger one. I've just thrown it on the floor. That's the smaller one. So you can see they fit inside. I want the smaller one. And the place that you position it, hopefully that adjusting that lighting will help. You want these little bumps, basically the points to go either side of this line here. Sorry, completely in alignment with it. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. So this is why the magnetic plate really makes a difference. So I'm going to position my cardstock. I'm going to try to do my best to not get my head in the camera. So I've got my magnetic plate, and then I've got a plastic cutting plate, the cardstock, the framelit, another cutting plate over the top, and then just wind that through. So take that all the way through, bring it back because I'm going to do it a second time. So that's cut that beautifully. Okay, let me push this in and do the second one. And again, hopefully you can see that. So it's just this, if I put my shadow, there you go, you can see this horizontal line is just in alignment with those two little knobbly bits. Oh, that is such a technical term, isn't it? Cutting plate on the top. Send it through. If you're new to big shots, that cracking is normal. It really is. It's where the plastic plates are resisting. But that's a good thing. Pop that one out, put the framelit to one side, and then there was the reason that I did the stamping before was because I'm going to cut this one out with the bitty banners. And let me just line this up and grab this set. And that is this one here. There's a trio of them. And there is a stamp set that matches these as well. Off the top of my head, I think it's called Bitty Banners. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember. Completely can't remember. Can't see it on my stamp shells either. And it fits perfectly round it. I'm probably going to get this offline because this needs to be quite focused, and you really do not want the top of my head in camera. Right. Plastic plate over the top. Send that one through as well. Get rid of the big shot. And that's also beautifully die cut out. I love die cutting machines. Aren't they genius? Awesome things. Right, let's bring everything back in. So we've got this all cut out. Let me just turn my lights back. There we go. So we've got these sections cut out, and that's these bits here. So now we need to start cutting. Again, I'm going to turn it over so you can see better. Cut up these lines that are going to match. They're not going to match at all. That are going to join this long horizontal line. Let's cut all of those up. And then you come to the skinny one. And we're going to get rid of that one. And the same on the opposite side. Oh, I'm looking at the time. I hope this isn't going to be too long a video. I'm nearly done. I've just got to fold and build now. So cut these up. Sometimes a longer video is worth it. Right, fold your score lines now. And burnish them. Get them stuck up your sleeve. So there we go. Sticky strip. We need some sticky strip on this little skinny section here. If I can find the end of it. There we go. So it's section on there. And then we know that this is going to be the top, so we want sticky strip on those parts there. So add a bit more up the top. Oops. I will give you, actually I will give you the finished dimensions of this in a second. Because, you know, you might not necessarily want to put a dozen tea lights in it. You might want to put a few less than that, so let's have a quick measure. 8 by 8 by 4 centimetres, which is in imperial 3 by 3 by shade over 1.5, maybe 1 5/8 of an inch. So that's the size of it. Paper piercer. We'll fold these over and stick that one down. And I haven't put window sheets in here. It did cross my mind to put window sheets in these, in the little window part, funnily enough. But I decided, because I was making this with chandeliers in mind, you want your customers to be able to smell the candles, and you don't want them to wreck your box and rip it open, you know, just to get the smell. So, right, candles. Got my 3s. That have just fallen off. So there's 3, 6, and you could even decorate your candles with our beautiful new washi tape. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Oh, that wasn't very sensible. So there we go, that's a dozen gone in there. Fold over your sides, fold over the back. I'm going to be super quick now to finish off. Close, and then I've got some, I'll just put it down. Oh, I've put my cutting plates on top of it. The silver baker's twine. Love this, it's so lush, it's gorgeous. 3 times round, cut it off, tie a bow or a knot or whatever you fancy. I used the silver 1/8 of an inch ribbon that was from the Christmas catalogue, but obviously so popular it's carried over into the spring one as well. And the sentiment, which I can't pick up here. What's this say? It says, "You're so very giving." Oh, lovely. A couple of mini glue dots on the back of that. Slide it underneath. And there we go. How gorgeous is that? That's lovely. I love the tone on tone, but I love our in colours as well. They're so gorgeous. They really are. Coastal Cabana, Strawberry Slush. This one is Crisp Cantaloupe. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me in this part of Spring Watch, and I hope you're enjoying.